Hey, good morning, everybody. Chuck, KK6USY from Ham Radio Ventures here today. And today's video is going to be on Shack in the Box. I don't know if everybody knows what that is. They're kind of controversial. Some people like them, some people don't. But today I'm going to show you why I do like them. Okay, two of the most popular radios out right now that are aimed at the entry level ham radio people is the IC7300 and the FT991A. They're relatively in the same price range, but they're different types of radios. And I'm going to show you why I like the 991A, and I think it's probably the best 100-watt Shack in the Box. And then we'll show you some other radios. Now, Shack in the Box means it has 160 through 6 plus 2 meter and 70 centimeter. In the background here, I don't know if you guys can see it. That's my 2 meter Yagi that I have a build on. I'll throw a link to that up in the top corner there. And what I like about that, that's a 5-element antenna that's not very big. It's like, what, less than 3 feet long, 5 elements, and I think the gain is 8 to 11, somewhere around there. Don't quote me. I forget exactly what it is. But I love to get up on a hilltop and do 2 meter FM, but what I really love is getting some sideband action. And the other thing you can do with those radios is 70 centimeter. I don't have an antenna build on that yet. Soon to be building one. And that's even a smaller antenna. Now, even 6 meter is a band that, when you get into the 4 elements, they get pretty big still, even though they are small compared to like 20 meter or especially 40 meter. So they're real easy to take up on the hill. I've got another antenna I should show you guys that's made out of PVC and some aluminum for 6. No, that was for 2. Excuse me, for 2 meter. So, and I don't want to leave anybody out here. I got some comments on my. This is for what can a tech do, and I got a guy that didn't like it because I didn't put the IC. I think it's 718. I didn't even know they still made the radio, and also one of the Alincos. Now, I didn't purposely leave those out, but for that video, it was aimed at techs, and I wanted to give something that techs could use, and neither one of those radios has 6 meters, so I kind of discount those. Neither one of those radios are the Kool-Aid radios, you know, drinking the Kool-Aid type radios, um, as I like to call them. Hey, I bought a bike that's not the Kool-Aid bike, and I still love it. So sorry if I don't know if they make a. Do they make? I don't know if either one of those, even Kenwood. I don't know if they actually make. Well, I'm talking Kenwood and Alinco. Let me. You know what? I'll be right back. I'm going to go check the computer, and I don't want to leave you guys out if they make something. Hang on. Okay, they don't make anything. Kenwood used to make something. It was a TS2000. Uh, I got in a conversation with the guy the other day, and he was trying to tell me that because you have a Shack in the Box, that it's an inferior radio to other radios, and I think that's just not right. He couldn't come up with why. He goes, look at Kenwood's website. They've got a big write up on it. Well, guess what? Kenwood doesn't offer one, so they might write anything. I don't know. I don't know why they discontinued that radio and nothing else. Really, to tell you the truth, um, ICOM and Yaesu are the only two companies that make Shack in the Boxes anymore. And Yaesu has just dropped one of theirs, which I have, which is an A57. It's no longer in production. And what I'm going to talk about today really is radios you can buy from Gigaparts, DX Engineering, HRL, one of the big stores, and there's the one from Texas. I forget the name of that one. I've bought a few things there also. So my choice for the best for me, now this is my opinion, guys. You may have yours. That's fine. I respect your opinion. But for me, the best 100-watt radio is the FTDX 991 or the FT991A. Now, if you don't care about the scope and all that, hey, look at the ICOM IC7100, which I think is probably a good radio too. It just wasn't for me. It doesn't come with a tuner, so you get a little less for your money, even though you're paying less. You also, to me, I'd rather take my 991A to a park zone in the air, because I do a lot. I love having the scope and all that. It doesn't have a scope either, the 7100. But to me, it's easier to just take one thing and then two pieces. I already have other pieces like my battery boxes. Okay, for QRP, that's the other two radios. Yaesu has the 818 is the new model, and that replaced the 817, which you still might find around. Still a good radio. I mean, it's older, doesn't have things, but the best QRP radio, and by far probably now, is the for a Shack in the Box, is the IC705 from ICOM. Really nice little radio. I probably, I don't know that I'll buy one unless the price comes down. I already have a QRP radio that fits what I like to do. It's just me, guys. You may think different. That's fine. I'm okay with that. So that's your four radios: 991A, IC7100 for 100 watts, the 718 or 818, FT818, and the IC705. All good radios. And the oldest radio there is that 818, and it's still a good radio. The satellite guys love that thing. They're super small, about the same weight as a 705, and that's kind of one of the problems I have with the 705 is the size. It's the face of it's almost as big as my 991A, and if I was going to take something to the park, I'm taking 100 watts. I have multiple radios I can do that with. So now, why would you want a Shack in the Box? Well, the reason I like it, and I talked to a big-time YouTuber one time before I even did videos, and he asked me why I bought the 991A versus the 7300. And I looked at both, believe me, and I bought it at Dayton a couple of years ago. And the reason I went with the 991A was because of the 2 meter and 70 centimeter, not the FM part, but the sideband part. That's what people don't always realize is, oh, I can buy say a mobile rig, a dual band mobile rig, and I can get 2 meter and 70 centimeter. Yes, you can. And you know what? I'd say if they made those with single sideband, I'd buy one too, but they don't. Nobody does that anymore. Now, I will have to hand it to ICOM. They came out with the IC9700, I think. It does 2 meter, 70 centimeter, and I think it does 220, and it's got satellite stuff. Awesome looking radio. But for my money, I don't do enough of that to spend more than I paid for, probably more than I paid for my FTDX 3000. Great radio. I'm not knocking it. For the people that have the money, hey, buy that thing. And then, especially people that have a 7300, you have the 7300, and then you have the two radios with the 9700, and that's probably a great setup. So if you have the money, hey, do that. You know, if you guys have any other radios that you know of that are still in current production, put it down in the comment section and let me know. I don't think I've missed any, but hey, I make mistakes just like everybody else. So I really like to go out on hilltops, do 2 meter sideband and FM, and I've got videos. I mean, I did a video one day. I took my 991 out to it was a soda and a POTA. I had my Moxon antenna, the portable one I built. I've got a video on that. That'll be up in the corner also, if I remember. And I think I knocked out 85 contacts on 20 meter that day, and I think that's all I did was 20. I mean, when you're doing a soda and a POTA, you get the double. You're kind of double dipping there for contacts, right? Well, what I didn't show in that video was after that was all over, I ate some lunch, took my Moxon down, threw my antenna in the background there, the 5-element 2 meter. I made another 35 or 40 contacts on sideband and also on FM. And I got a video on that, and I'll see if I can figure out which one that was, and I'll put that up here also, if they'll allow me to do that. I don't know if I can put that many videos in, but I'll try to get that in for you, or I'll choose it later at the end of the video. Hey, and by the way, if you like what you've seen so far, or even if you're not sure yet, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, hit all, and you'll get my future videos. And if you don't like it later, hey, click off it. You can do that. It doesn't cost you any money. Okay, where was I? we're talking, oh yeah, I did a bunch of contacts that day. So that's the reason I really like the Shack in the Box. And like I say, I think the Smoking Ape and I are going to do a video later on this, or actually a live stream. And on that one, you guys will be able to interact with us. And we'll talk about, is it an inferior radio? I don't buy that. I've got an FTDX 3000, and yeah, my 991A doesn't. You have to use the menus more than you do with the 3000, but it's a different radio, guys. It's that thing's borderline uh, doing like contest stuff. The only thing that thing doesn't have versus the 5000 is the second tuner, and I don't, I'm not a big contester. But when I do, I like to have that radio, and that's the radio I use. But when I go places, I bought this 991 for, I got a nice RV, a nice trailer that I pull behind it at times, and I've got my own little shack on wheels, baby. And it's like, it's set up better than my house, to tell you the truth. I got more room. I've got 16 feet of room in the thing. It's 8.5 feet wide, and I just sit out there. My wife's in the motorhome sleeping. I'm making contacts. At the end here, I'm just going to say, if you have questions, put them in the comments. And like I said before, if you know of a radio that's still in production, I don't care about radios. I mean, if I was going to do that, I'd throw my A57 in there. I'd throw the IC7000. A better radio, I think, from ICOM is the IC706 Mark II-G. I think that's the latest model. That's probably what I would buy for an ICOM on those. For portable, I'm talking portable. Now, the 7100, let me talk about that one a little bit. It's a two-piece radio. It's got kind of a weird, I think it works really good in the shack. If you're looking for a cheaper, you're going to have to add a tuner to it. But shoot, I don't, tell you the truth, the tuner I use is not in any of my radios at home in the shack. I've got a way better manual tuner, and I prefer that. But I think in the shack, that radio is pretty cool. I still think that the 991A is a little nicer. You get the nice scope, and same thing when you go to the QRP radios. I mean, ICOM has some of the best scopes out there right now. I think the 7300, that 705, the 7610, and then I think there's a toss-up between those. It's a preference by people. The 101s have it. The FTDX10 has a nice scope. The 705, I mean, now, if I was one of these guys, and there's a lot of guys that do this, that wants to go out portable, say, and actually, it's still pretty light radio. It's a little over like 4.5 pounds or so. I forget, maybe it's 2.5 pounds. I forget. I have all the figures someplace, and I don't have them. But and if I made a mistake, I'll try to throw it up there if I remember. But if I was a digital guy, that would probably be my QRP radio if I wanted to do QRP digital. But I don't really do much digital, and so I don't see it. I have a KX2 for my portable ops, and I either take that or my FT857. If I want 100 watts, that's what I take. And then again, that's a Shack in the Box also. Not in production. If you can find one under $1,000 and you want something like that, buy it, because ever since Yaesu discontinued that radio, it's skyrocketed. It's all the old good radios, like the 7000s, are expensive. So, like I said, today's video is on today's radios that you can buy from a dealer. What else do we have? And I'll cut some of this out if I can't think of what I'm going to do here. But if you haven't tried, this is really good. If you haven't tried sideband on 2 meters or 70 centimeters, I really haven't done a lot of 70, but I do a lot of 2 meter off and on. Try it out. I mean, like I showed you, that antenna is this long. I mean, you can't even see it, so I'll have to move it in. You just can't do that on other bands, and it's a lot of fun. Now, I will say I live in California, Northern California and Southern California. Let me tell you, 2 meters is a hot band. I know some of you guys, I've talked to a lot of people, a lot of different hams, and they say, I don't have any 2 meter in my area, and I understand that. And in that case, if you don't have 2 meter, hey, if you're looking at money and you're looking at the 7300, the 991A, buy the 7300. It's a good radio. There's nothing wrong with it. When it came out, I already had radios that I liked outside of the 2 meter and 70 centimeter. I'd love to try one. If anybody wants to send me one, I'll check it out and I'll send it back to you. Um, Now, I said earlier that I had to hand it to ICOM for making that 9700. Um, that's something that radio manufacturers used to make, and I guess it fell out of maybe hams just weren't using it enough or buying enough of them. But there are older radios out there that do just 2-meter all band. The only thing I have, what I would like to see, ICOM, Yaesu, Kenwood, let's get back in the business, baby. Um, Make a 2-meter, 70 centimeter, and even if you want to add 220, I mean, even that, and make it a 50, at least a 50-watt radio on those bands. 100 would be better, but you can always fix that up with an amp. And I have an amp, guys. I can do about 150 watts, I think, on 2-meter, and I probably will take that out portable one of these days. I haven't yet, but I'm throwing it out there for Yaesu, and especially Yaesu and ICOM. Come out with that $1,000 2-meter, 70 centimeter radio that people probably buy. I mean, all band radios. Um, and like I said before, if you got a 7300 and you wanted to put the twins up there, they used to have a set of radios. I forget who made them, called the twins. Um, that's awesome. I mean, they do have beautiful screens on them. I like the screen on my 991A too. Some people don't, but some people do, and they're both good radios. What I've noticed, the 7300 is probably a little more popular in the U.S., but in the U.K., I've noticed a lot of, at least YouTube people, have a lot of the 991As, and I think that's because they are more into 2-meter and 70 centimeter, and they have a lot of contests for it. Now, I just spoke with Chris, the digital analog ham. Check his channel out if you haven't. He's got an awesome channel, and he has both. He has a 991A and a 7300, and he likes them both. If I remember right, he said, yeah, I like both. He likes all radios. It's like every ham. I like all radios too. But depending on what he's doing is what radio he takes out. He goes out portable a lot because he says the noise, well, he lives in an apartment building and the noise is just too high. Like a lot of people, that's why this portable stuff is what you guys, if you got high noise, get out and start doing POTAs, SOTAs. You don't even have to do a POTA or SOTA. Just get out on some hill or someplace where it's quiet. You'll be amazed at, I mean, if you watch some of my videos on some of my POTAs and SOTAs, you look at the meter sometimes when I have the camera. It's really hard to get the screen and the camera, but when I have them on there, and you'll see guys that sound like they're, S9, S6, S7, S5, and they're not even moving my meter. I mean, and I'm usually getting sometimes when you're doing POTA, it's always a 5.9, but when guys start giving me something like, hey, you're a 5.8 here, then I know they're trying to give me a true actual report. And I think a lot of that's got to do with just where you're at. And I think, I know right here, sorry, if the wind is getting this, I'm really sorry. It's been windy here in Northern California, and I tried to get out early. That's why I got this extra shirt on, because it was a little chilly out here this morning. And it's supposed to get up to like in the 80s or 90s today, but right now it's a little chilly and the wind's been here. So hopefully we're not getting any wind noise. So I think the rest of this video is going to be, like I said before, I'll probably throw some pictures up. I'll throw you the prices. Like right now, I will. A 7300 right now it's a little over $1,000, but ICOM's got some really good rebates right now, so it's $999.95 or something like that most places. Now, the 991A is about $125 difference. It's a little bit more. The actual, if you look at the retail price from Gigaparts on both radios, since it's the same place, the 991A is actually cheaper at a regular price, but they're never at rate. They usually have some kind of a sale going on. And what I will show you is I'll show you a FTM 400 from Yaesu, and I'll show you the IC5100, 5105, something like that, and show you what those things cost. Guaranteed they're more than $125. So, and the FTM 400 basically, since it's in the same line, and also you can look at the, well, I'll bring that up in a second. You can look at, they're in the same line there, And the only thing that the 991A doesn't have when you buy it is the GPS antenna, and you can add that. And I have never done that. I do a little bit of the APRS for the APRS, and there is a way to do that. But other than that, it's kind of the same radio. And I will say that I'm not the, I can't remember where to go half the time on on HT to set up the repeaters and stuff. And I have to say that 991A is the easiest radio I've ever used, and I think the FT70 is pretty easy as for an HT. But now the IC705, same thing. Now you get fusion with the Yaesu, you get D-Star. So if you're a D-Star person, maybe the 7100 is a better 100 watt radio for you if that's what you want to do, and vice versa. But that 705, the only thing I would say about the 705 for 2-meter sideband and stuff like that, it's only 10 watts. And it's hard enough to make contacts a lot of times, especially some of you guys that aren't in areas like California that has a lot of 2-meter action. Another guy, if you guys want to watch him, 2-meter crew, the guy's name's Derek. Derek has the green donkey, which is his, that's his Toyota 4Runner green, so he calls it the green donkey. He calls mine the red donkey. And check out his videos. If you think that 2-meter is not working, this guy goes up on Mount Diablo, which is near us. Is like a lot of repeaters stuff up there. It's one of the higher peaks in our area. And the guy makes amazing contacts. And a lot of times he'll turn his 991A down to 5 watts, but he's using like sometimes 11 element antenna with him. So, I mean, this guy, he loves going out and do it. I don't know if he does HF, to tell you the truth. So check him out too. So I'm going to end this. The only other thing, like I said, don't forget to subscribe if you want to, and you don't have to, but hey, subscribe for a while. If you don't like my channel, you can always unsubscribe. It doesn't cost anything. And hit that like. And also when you subscribe, hit the bell, hit all. That way all my videos will come up. So this is Chuck, KK6USY for Ham Radio Adventures, 73 all, and we hope to catch you on the bands and get you in the books. See you later. 73's all.